We have another system of equations on this page. Now this one, I don't have anything set up perfectly to start with in terms of two equations where I don't have to multiply and something will cancel like the last page. But my x's are pretty good because I have two positive 6x's. So I'm actually going to pick x as my variable to eliminate. So first I'm going to number my equations that I have, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. I'll create equation 4 on the next step. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose two of those equations and create opposites to eliminate a variable. So I'm going to choose equations 1 and 2. Equation 1 is 6x plus 8y plus 5z equals 5. Equation 2, I could really pick either one, but I'm going to multiply that one by -1. Oops. Okay, so this parentheses is a mistake. We'll get rid of that, right? Because I need to distribute it down the whole thing. So I'm going to rewrite equation 1, even though it didn't change, just so it's lined up. And then I have -6x minus 7y minus 4z equals -1. This cancels. 8y minus 7y is 1y. 5z minus 4z is 1z. And then over here I have a 4. So this is my equation 4, which I will use again in step C. So next thing we're going to do is B. I need to pick two different equations and also eliminate x. I'm going to choose equations 1 and 3. Equation 1, I'm going to leave. And then equation 3, I'm going to multiply by -3, which is going to make the 2x become a -6x, and then it will be opposites with equation 1. So I'm going to rewrite those equations. And I'm distributing my -3. And then we'll add them together. So I have -10y minus 22z equals -4. My next step, I am going to combine equations 4 and then also equation 5. So let's do letter C. So 4. And looking at these two, I'm going to eliminate y next, and I'm just going to take equation 4 and multiply it by 10. So that's going to create a 10y to go with a -10y in equation 5. So 10 times equation 4, and then equation 5, I'm going to leave alone. Now, it is possible you have to multiply both equations by something like we did a couple lessons ago. It just hasn't come up yet. So 10y plus 10z equals 40, and -10y minus 22z equals -4. So adding these two together, I get -12z equals 36. So now I'm ready to solve for z, so I divide by -12. So z equals -3. And that's my first value. So from here, we just have to plug in to find the values of the other two variables. For step D, I'm going to take the -3 and I'm going to plug into either of the two equations. I think equation 4 is a little easier, so I'm just going to write it and plug in the -3. And I have those ones in front of the y and the z. We really can drop them because they're just there to help us add. So this is going to give me, when I add the 3, y equals 7. And our last step, so E, I'm going to go back up to one of my original equations. I'm just going to use the first one. So 6x plus 8y plus 5z equals 5. And so I have 6x plus 8 times 7 plus 5 times negative 3 equals 5. So I have 6x. 56 minus 15 is 41. When I subtract 41, that's going to give me negative 36. So this is going to give me that x is negative 6. Writing my answer as an ordered triple, I have negative 6, 7, and negative 3 for the final answer. This is our last full system. We're going to talk about checking systems at the bottom of the page. For this one, I definitely recommend trying it on your own first. I will say that in my equations, I chose to eliminate z. So if you're trying this on your own, the only reason I'm saying that is otherwise, if you pick something else to eliminate, then it'll be really hard to check with the work I do. So I would suggest trying it on your own, but eliminating z so you can check with me. So hopefully you've done it. I'm going to do this one kind of quickly. So step A, nicely, equations 1 and 2 are set up where I don't need to multiply. I can just eliminate. So I'm going to write those two down. So this cancels, and I have 3y, 5x, equals a negative 14. So here is my equation 4. And then we're going to pick another two equations to go together to eliminate z. Because the signs are already set up, I'm going to choose equations 2 and 3. Now this is our first time we have to multiply both of them. So I'm going to leave some room. First, I'm just going to write them down. So this is equation 2. Now this one's a little harder than the other ones. I know the numbers get a little bigger here. So in order to eliminate z, even though x seems a little easier, I have to eliminate z because in step A I eliminated z. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4 and this one by 3, and that'll create that 12 and negative 12 for z. So I have 4x plus 20y minus 12z equals 4 times negative 37 is negative 148. And this one I have negative 6x plus 3y plus 12z equals 3 times 27 is 81. Adding these two together, these cancel. I have negative 2x plus 23y equals negative 67. So that's my equation 5. And now I'm going to put those two together. Now looking at these two, it looks like the easiest option is to make the x's the same. So I could multiply by the first 4 by 2, and then I can multiply equation 5 by 5. And so that's what I'm going to do for step C. So here is equation 4. I'm multiplying that one by 2. And here is equation 5, and I'm going to multiply that one by 5. So this is 10x, I'm just going to separate this because I got kind of close, 10x plus 6y equals negative 28. And then my other one, I have negative 10x plus 115y equals negative 335. So things are getting pretty big. It's a little disconcerting sometimes. You just kind of push through, and we will only give you answers on these that are integer answers. So, whole, positive, or negative numbers. So that's kind of a hint. On a test, though, if you get stuck and you get fractions and you can't fix it, you just need to keep going because you need to finish the problem so you can get as much partial credit as possible. So if I add negative 28 and negative 335, I get negative 363. Numbers that were huge. When I divide by negative 120 or positive 121, I'm actually going to get the value of y is negative 3. So there's my first value. Then I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it in and get my two other values. Looking at my two equations, I'm going to choose equation 4 for the plug-in. So equation 4, I'm going to directly plug it in this time. So we have 5x plus 3 times negative 3 equals negative 14. 5x minus 9 equals negative 14. Add 9, we get 5x equals negative 5, so x is negative 1. Step E, I'm going to choose equation 1. So that's 4 times x, so 4 times negative 1, minus 2 times negative 3, plus 3z equals 23. A little crunched for space here. So this is 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, plus 6. This is, if I combine this together, is going to equal 2. So 2 plus 3z equals 23. I'm going to subtract that 2 and get 21. So z equals 7. Finding a spot that's open, I'm going to write my answer up here. So I have negative 1, negative 3, positive 7 for the coordinates for that answer. Moving on to the last one, this is just a little different type of question. It says you can easily check your solution to any system of equations by storing your answers for each of the variables and making sure they make each of the equations true. This is especially useful if you get a multiple choice question on this topic. So you know how much work goes into solving these. If it's multiple choice, you can just store the numbers as x, y, and z and see which one works. So for example, if I store in the first one, negative 1 store as x, 1 store as y, negative 4 store as z, and then I type in 2x plus y minus 3z, I can see if it equals 11. If I did that, this one would equal 11, but the next one, negative x plus 2y plus 4z, would not equal negative 3. It has to work for all three, so that one is not my answer. Now, I should have mentioned as we were first getting into this, it's very easy to access the x on your calculator because there's an x button, the x, t, theta, n button, that's right next to alpha. To get to y and z, you just press the green alpha button and then pick the button that has that green letter above it. So alpha 1 is y and alpha 2 is z. For the next set, if I stored 1 as x, 3 as y, and negative 2 as z, that's the one that would work. If I typed in this equation, it would equal 11. This expression, it would equal negative 3, and this expression would equal negative 18. So that is the answer.